power flow stages in the induction motor. So this is a induction motor. This induction motor, this is called stator. Okay, this is called stator. The stator input is called active power. Active power to the stator is called PI. PI is called active power. The stator having core and also winding. Right? The stator having winding and also core. So because of that winding, so this there are losses takes place. That is called stator copper losses, and also some loss, iron loss also take place in the stator core of this induction motor. Same as transformer. Okay, the transformer primary winding is considered like as a stator of a induction motor. Am I right? So this is a stator. This stator is having winding, and also the stator having core, iron core. Okay, so because of that, some amount of loss takes place. That is called stator copper losses and the stator iron losses. Okay, the input power is nothing but active power to the stator. Okay, so PA is called active power into the stator. So this is called input supply, and this is called output of this stator is called active power supply to the rotor. This is called input of the rotor. Rotor of induction motor is called stator output. Input of the rotor is called output of the stator. That is also called as the air gap power. That is also called as a slip power. Okay, S into PG, that is called rotor power, is called slip power. Understood? So here, the stator input power minus this losses is called stator input power, that is called PI minus stator copper losses and stator iron losses is called stator output, and also called as a rotor input. That is for nothing but active power supplied to the rotor. Okay, this is called active power supplied to the rotor. Okay, so then this rotor is also having copper loss. Okay, so this rotor frequency is very less, so that's why the iron losses are almost negligible. The rotor frequency is called slip times of the stator frequency. Fr is equal to S times of Fs. So that's why the rotor frequency is very less. Generally, the iron losses are depending on frequency. Okay, generally these iron losses are depending on frequency. That's why this rotor iron losses are negligible. That's why. So here we are not including rotor iron losses. Only rotor copper losses are stick. The rotor copper loss are only, so we have to consider. Understood? So the rotor copper loss, here rotor input is nothing but active power. That's called rotor input PR, active power supplied to the rotor. PR. This PR minus rotor copper loss is nothing but rotor output. That is called mechanical power. Mechanical power. PM. PM is nothing but PR minus rotor copper loss. And then this is having windage and friction loss also take place. Okay. So after this mechanical power minus windage and friction loss is called shaft power. Okay. So this is about power flow stages in induction motor. So what is the so in static rotor resistance control method? So that is called IGBT chopper control. Okay. And also conventional rotor resistance. Conventional rotor resistance control method. In this slip power is wasted in the rotor circuit resistance. If you are increasing the rotor resistance, this slip power, rotor copper loss, that is called I2 square into R2, 3 I2 square into R2. Yes, this power loss takes place in the rotor circuit. So how to recover this slip power? By using this schemes are static Serbiestical, static Cramer step. Understood? So these are the following points. Following points may be noted that from the overflow stages. A stator input is equal to PI, that is called stator input is nothing but stator output plus stator loss. Stator output plus stator losses called iron loss and stator copper loss. You know this information. And rotor input is nothing but PR is equal to rotor output. Rotor input is equal to stator output. Stator output is also called known as rotor input. That is also called air gap power. Okay. And this mechanical power available is PM is equal to rotor input minus rotor copper loss. Okay. Mechanical power PM is nothing but rotor input minus rotor copper loss. And also mechanical power shaft P output is equal to mechanical power developed PM minus friction and windage loss. Okay. So So this is about the simple power flow stages in the slip ring induction motor. Understood? And then coming to the slip power recovery theory. Slip power recovery theory. By using this slip power recovery theory, we can easily understand the concept of static Cramer drive and static state based. Okay, before going to this schemes, static Cramer drive and static state based drive. So you have to understand the concept of slip power recovery theory. Okay, so in this slip power recovery theory, this system is mainly used for speed control of slip ring induction motor. So not for squirrel cage induction motor. Understood? This system is mainly used for speed control of slip ring induction motor. Okay, the speed of slip ring induction motor can be controlled either by varying the stator voltage or by controlling the power flow in the rotor circuit. Am I right? Understood? This speed of the slip ring induction motor can be controlled by either varying the stator voltage or by controlling the power flow in the rotor circuit. So here we have to concentrating on rotor side. That's why controlling the power flow in the rotor circuit. So we have to control the power flow in the rotor circuit. Okay. So you know well in power delivered. So here power delivered to the rotor that is called air gap power is equal to the mechanical power plus rotor copper loss. Understood? So rotor power that is called rotor input power, that is also called as air gap power. This air gap power is equal to the mechanical power plus rotor copper loss. Am I right? Mechanical power plus PM plus PM. Am I right? Air gap power is equal to, so rotor output, that is called mechanical power plus rotor copper loss. Am I right? And then this air gap power is equal to omega S into T. Power is equal to output to omega. The air gap power is equal to omega S into T. Am I right? PAG air gap power is equal to omega S into T. Okay, omega S is called synchronous radians per second. Okay, and power PM mechanical power developed is equal to omega into T. So this is called rotor speed. So that rotor speed is equal to omega R is equal to omega S into 1 minus S. And then copper loss is nothing but S times of omega S into T. That is called air gap power. Copper loss is equal to S times of omega S into T. This S into PAG omega S into T is called air gap power. So S into PAG is called slip power. So this is our main concept. Slip power. S into PAG is called slip power. This power is wasted in the rotor circuit resistance. In static rotor resistance control method and conventional rotor resistance control method, this slip power is wasted. So this slip power is wasted. So how to recover this slip power? Means by using static Cramer drive and static state based. So this is the concept regarding to static Cramer drive and static. So this how to recover the slip power is one of the main concepts. So to increase the efficiency of this slip ring induction motor controlling method, so this concept slip recovery theory concept system is used. And here mechanical power developed is equal to 1 minus S into air gap power. Understood? So here torque is called electromagnetic torque developed in the motor and omega is called synchronous. Okay, synchronous angular velocity. So try to consider here the air gap flux of the machine is established by the stator supply. Am I right? The air gap power. So this air gap power of the machine is established by the stator supply. Okay, and it remains practically constant. Stator voltage of the induction motor is constant. That is called 230 volts for single phase, 450 volts for three phase. This is only rotor side control. That's why stator supply is constant. Stator supply is constant and it remains practically constant. If the stator impedance drops, okay, if the stator impedance drops, for example, and the supply voltage is fluctuations are neglected. Okay, sometimes the stator impedance drops because of, okay, the stator impedance drops, and the supply voltage fluctuations are neglected here. And same supply voltage fluctuations are neglected because of we have to concentrating on rotor side of only. The rotor copper loss is proportional to the slip. The rotor copper loss is proportional to the slip. PCU is proportional to the slip. Okay, the speed control of slip ring induction motor by connecting external rotor resistance to the rotor side. Speed control of a slip ring induction motor by controlling external rotor resistance. Okay, external resistance in the rotor side. This method of speed control has been already explained this concept. The main drawback of this system is large power is dissipated in rotor resistance. Main disadvantage of this rotor resistance control method and static rotor resistance control. Conventional and static rotor resistance control methods. So main disadvantage is called this slip power is wasted in the form of resistance, in the form of meter across the resistance, R2, rotor resistance. Okay, the main drawback of this system is large power is dissipated in the rotor resistance. Okay, and reduce the efficiency of the motor at low speeds. Reduce the efficiency of the motor at low speeds. So these are the drawbacks. The drawbacks can be overcome by using slip power recovery theory. So this slip power can be recovered to the supply. Understood? The slip power S into PAG. This slip power can be recovered to the supply source. Can be used to supply the additional motor. Understood? This slip power can be recovered to the supply source. Can be used to supply an additional motor. Additional motor is required. So this to supply the slip power. Okay. Understood. This slip power can be recovered to the supply source. Can be used to supply an additional motor. Additional motor is required here. Okay, which is mechanically coupled to the main motor. Which is mechanically coupled to the main motor. This type of drive is known as a slip recovery system. It's clear? So try to kindly focus on this concept. Slip power can be recovered to the supply source. Can be used to supply an additional motor which is mechanically coupled to the main motor. This type of drive is known as a slip power recovery systems, and this improves the overall efficiency of the system. This is called a slip recovery system. Okay. Additional motor is required here. Additional motor which is mechanically coupled to the main motor. This type of drive is known as a slip power recovery system, and it improves the overall efficiency of the system. That's it. Here and next. So this is the torque relations here. This in this the speed of a slip ring induction motor can be controlled by both subsynchronous and supersynchronous regions. Speed of a slip ring induction motor can be controlled by both subsynchronous and supersynchronous. Okay, this is called cascade connection. Understood? Here the torque equation, torque is equal to K1 into pi into I2 into cos pi 2. This is called cos pi 2 is called rotor power factor. This I2 is called rotor current, and it is a flux. Okay, so here, so then it's called K2 into I2. Generally, this K1 pi cos pi 2 is all constant. That's why this another constant is called K2. The torque is proportional to the rotor current. Understood? So this slip power is taken from the rotor. In this scheme, this slip power is taken from the rotor and fed back to the supply. Understood? At this condition, the motor operates as a subsynchronous region. Remember this point. Okay. So this slip power is taken from the rotor. Slip power is taken from the rotor and fed back to the supply. At this condition, the motor operates in the subsynchronous region. Similarly, the electric power is pumped to the rotor. Okay, the motor operates as a super synchronous region. Understood? Subsynchronous, what is meant by subsynchronous region? What is meant by super synchronous region means okay, this slip power is taken from the rotor. Slip power is taken from the rotor and fed back to the supply. At this condition, the motor operates as a subsynchronous region. Understood? Similarly, if the electric power is pumped to the rotor, electric power pumped to the rotor, the motor operates as a super synchronous region. Okay, so this is about subsynchronous region and super synchronous region. Okay, and here, so this is the I2 current flow into the rotor of a slip ring induction motor. Okay, when the motor operates constant input voltage, try to focus here this theory. When the motor is operated constant input voltage, okay, the flux remains constant. Okay, So motor operates constant input voltage and flux remains constant and power factor cos pi 2 is constant. Understood? So cos pi 2 is constant. Power factor cos pi 2 of the rotor circuit may be assumed to be so unity or constant. Okay, the motor operates under constant torque operation. Okay, rotor current I2 is also constant. Understood? So the rotor current I2 is also constant. This is called constant torque operation. Understood? This so step plus supply voltage is constant. That's why flux is constant, and also the rotor power factor cos pi 2 is also constant, maybe unity. Okay, so generally this K1 flux cos pi 2 is constant, and torque is equal to K2 into I2. So generally the rotor circuit resistance is also constant. Okay, this is called constant torque operation. Then I2 is equal to E2 divided by Z2. Current flow into the rotor circuit is I2 is equal to E2 divided by Z2. Where Z2 is the rotor impedance and E2 is called rotor EM. Okay. So Z2 may be assumed to be constant. So the rotor impedance assumed to be constant and independent of frequency. Okay. Z2 may be assumed to be constant and also independent of frequency. Let's say a particular speed of the rotor EMF E2 can be assumed to be constant. Okay. So in this cascade connection, the cascade connection of this slip power recovery system's main concept is called. So how to collect this slip power by using additional motor? Am I right or not? By using additional motor, this slip power can be covered. The slip power can be recovered to the supply source. Slip power can be recovered to the supply source, can be used to supply additional motor, which is mechanical coupled to the main motor. So that's why that is called cascade connection. Okay, so that is called as a cascade connection. Because of that, this EMF induced in the rotor EMF E2 is equal to K into pi into omega s minus omega m plus E external EMF. Okay, so K E2 is equal to this called rotor EMF E2, that is called K into pi omega s minus omega. Okay, that is plus external EMF. So E2 minus E external is equal to K into pi to omega s minus omega. Then omega is called rotor speed. Omega is called rotor speed. Ext is called external EMF fed to the rotor. External EMF fed to the rotor. Okay. So E2 minus E external. So from this based on this relation, so we can explain that that's how the power flows. Okay, rotor to main source or main source to the rotor. Based on this relations, you can say that slip power, how this slip power is transferred from main source to rotor side or rotors to main source. In this way, this power is not wasted in the rotor circuit. This power is fed to the main source, and also the power is fed to the rotor side. Understood? So in this way, this power is fed to the main source. So that's why this method is efficient. From this equation, so E2 minus Ext, the motor speed is dependent on external EMF Ext. From this relation, so we can easily understand that the Ext, the rotor speed, motor speed is dependent on external EMF Ext. Okay. So in this, we have to understand these two concepts. That is, if E2 minus Ext is positive, if E2 minus Ext is negative, so what happens? If E2 minus Ext is positive, okay, E2 minus Ext, this is become positive. That means rotor EMF is greater than that of the external EMF. Okay, the rotor EMF is greater than that of the external EMF into the rotor. Okay, so E2 minus Ext, so this is greater, E2 is greater than that of Ext. So what happened? Power flow from rotor to source of external Ext. Power flows from rotor to source of Ext, and the motor operates as a subsynchronous region. So that means the slip power is fed to the main source in subsynchronous region. Understood? Similarly, if E2 minus Ext, this is called E2 minus Ext, so difference is a negative. That means E2 is less than, rotor EMF is less than that of the external EMF. So from this case, external EMF is more than the rotor EMF, means always power flow from high potential to low potential. So here E2 is a higher potential compared to external. E2 rotor EMF is a higher potential compared to external EMF. That's why this power flow from so rotor to main source. That is called subsynchronous region. Okay, if the external EMF is more than that of the rotor EMF, that is called this external EMF. This is called rotor external EMF. The rotor is more than that of the rotor EMF. So that means the power flow from high potential to low potential. That's why external circuit to so rotor EMF. So this the main source to rotor side. The power flow from main source to rotor side. Okay, if E2 minus EXT is negative, the power flows from source of EX2 to rotors and is operates as a super synchronous region, main source to rotors. So in this way, this is concept is regarding slip over recovery system. Understood?